18 years ago, I decided to run for the state legislature, representing a district that had 19% unemployment, a rural area of our state, and I have never looked back and never regretted these 18 years. One of my proudest achievements for all of us who have worked together on this is to provide direction for one Washington. One of my dearest friends, a good gentleman from the 16th District, Uncle Bill, who is no longer with us, taught us the importance of trying to tear down the Cascade Curtain. And I tried my darndest in my 18 years to tear down the urban-rural divide. And I think we've made huge strides. I have so appreciated the friendship and leadership of the other Mr. Speaker from the 43rd District, and working with him for these past 12 years, and working with a good lady from the 37th who has been on our leadership team, and we've all bonded and become quite good friends, and we brought a very diverse group of viewpoints to the leadership team, which was always very interesting, and I love that perspective. I love that our caucus this year passed a bill that provides jobs in Eastern Washington. I love that we don't look at that as, well, that's politically, they're not for us, so we're not going to help them. I love that about my caucus. I love that I've been a part of that. I have appreciated you, Mr. Speaker. You are just amazing there, and I watch you handle all this fairly tedious sometimes discussions, and I think what a wonderful job you're doing. I'm so glad that you represent us. I don't know where the other Mr. Speaker is half the time, but where is he? Oh, there he is. I came in with some people that I care very deeply for who are still here. My good friend from the 40th, who made me weep when I said goodbye, when I knew he was leaving, Representative Quall, and I sat at the same table in 1992 at a reorganization meeting. And we just hit it off immediately. And my good friend from the 42nd, our Ways and Means Chair, and I have shared many, 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 many years together, and many good times together, and many hard times together. We've had new leadership with our good lady from the 25th, Representative Morell, and she has just brought, she's a nurse. She's the one that drove me to the doctor, picked me up this year, drove me to the doctor, took me to a cardiologist in Puyallup, and said, get in there and get taken care of. And my good friend, the minority leader from the 20th, Representative DeBolt, he and I have always respected the institution and each other and the fact that we can disagree. I have loved working with your freshmen when they come into office to try to help them be successful, to get some piece of legislation passed, because I know it must feel pretty crummy to be in the minority and not have that ability for your members. And I've loved it that my caucus thinks that's okay. And I have a special friend in this, all of you, by the way, I really appreciate, respect, and have various degrees of friendship with, but always great affection for all of you. But the fine lady from the 32nd who has made early learning her passion, which is a passion of mine, I so respect what she's done, and I think it's made an incredible difference and will make an incredible difference for our children. Because children learn from the minute they're born. In fact, they actually learn when they're still in the mother's womb, but they do learn, and the more they learn, the better prepared they are and the better off they are in their lives, and they're ready for school. So our emphasis on early learning, I really totally appreciate the good lady from the 32nd. Being a part of this place is an amazing experience. that few people ever have. Excuse me, I'm just a little emotional. Because we have done things like make sure that all children in the state of Washington are covered by health care. We didn't wait for Congress. We didn't wait for some politically correct time. We just knew it was right that our children should all have health care. And we've stuck up for that in these terrible times, in this great recession as well. Our children are being covered by health care, and it feels incredibly great to be a part of a group of men and women who have provided that for our children. You won't believe this, but in 1993, I actually voted for education reform. And we've been working on that ever since. And we keep making strides, and I am so glad to live in a state that education is the paramount duty of our Constitution and keeps challenging us to be ever vigilant in making sure we're actually funding that basic education. We've had the ability to change laws that change lives, that saves lives, that make lives better, that allow some people to go to college whose families have never, ever been to college. And then we can do sort of little things that we do with our constituents, and those are very special to each and every one of us. This year, oh dear, I didn't get the gentleman from the 45th had a bill that included something that was very dear to the heart of one of my constituents, who called me about a year and a half ago and said that his relative who was involved, married to a man who was involved, he beat her up, domestic violence. And he killed her. And the gentleman told me that he prohibited the family from having her body taken care of and a burial because he was in charge of the disposition of her remains. And the bill that the good gentleman from the 45th passed this year included that in his bill so that no victim of a domestic violence murder would ever have to have her perpetrator continue that violence against her after she's gone. That the disposition would be not put in the hands of the person accused of that murder. And I know each and every one of you have so many stories like that where you are able to, because of the positions that we all have, we're able to do great and small things together. And I'm privileged to have served with all of you. Now I'm sad that I'm leaving, but I'm really glad, just so you know, I'm really actually glad. I think it's time. I love you all. It's been fun to be in the trenches with you, because sometimes those trenches are deep and very, very difficult. And I hope that we all appreciate our differences, because that's what makes this place function. That's what makes this place very special. And that's what makes each and every one of you very special, because we can really make a difference. We have made a difference, and we continue to make a difference. And I will watch you on TVW, but I don't actually get it where I live. But so I won't be making a big habit of it. But if I'm anywhere where there is TVW, I will watch you and be somewhat nostalgic. Then I won't be here any longer. But thank you for the privilege of serving with all of you. Oh, thank you, Maureen. So that's my deal. I'm retiring. I'm almost 70, for God's sake. It's time. All right. Thank you. Oh, and to my seatmates, my wonderful senator and my wonderful seatmate, who could save me if I did start to croak on the floor. They've just been a joy to serve with, and we've had each other's backs. The senator and I have had each other's backs for 18 years, and it's been a real pleasure. He prays for me, and that's got to be good. So thank you again, all of you, and I wish you all well, and please be kind to one another. Thank you.